All right, we are live once again, back with Apex and a Thought. Today's topic: what are words? The meaning of words, the origin of words, what they mean within reality, and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into propaganda, the lying spirit of the West, and wherever else the conversation leads us. So, if you could start us off, we were talking about words and like how the particles. Just go deep on it because I can't remember everything you were telling me.
Okay, from a metaphysical standpoint, there are things in quantum physics called particulates, and particulates are small subatomic particles that are all around us, and we interact with them, and they interact with us, causing a pseudo reality effect. In other words, you pretty much create your own reality over time
Hmm.
with the words that you say
Really?
and the thoughts that you. Yes.
And like the origins of that, when do you think humans realize, like, because one of the things I wanted to talk to you was about the origin of words. How did we come to be from non-verbal communication to using our voice box to represent things?
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I want to address that. Well, the majority of the words that we use came about from English or British priests, European priests. Um, there was one word in Masonry and what they call the lost word, which is Om. So when you hear like Buddhist priests and Buddhist monks, that's why they meditate on that frequency because it's really a 432 hertz frequency,
Mm,
which puts your chakras in your body, your spirit back in attunement, in alignment with the universe.
mm.
But
So it's not no
prior
heebie
to that,
jeebie. Oh, my apologies. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying it's what they did. The dark, you got two priesthoods basically. You have the dark priesthood, which represents truth, light, and consciousness, and then you have the dark priesthood, which represents um, deception, destruction, everything that you would consider satanic. And
Hmm.
so they created words, and they created what we commonly call today connotative linguistics. Connotative linguistics is linguistics that trip you up because it takes you away from the true root and origin of the word, the mother of the word. That's called etymon, the etymon, Etymon. And the study of the true origin of words is called etymology. So a lot of times we use words that we don't even know what they mean, and because they put stepchild definitions in the dictionary, we think that those in linear entries are the origin of the word, and it's not. I'll give you an example. The word nice, NICE, originally that word meant foolish. It was not a good word. It was not a positive. I shouldn't say good, but it was not a positive jurisdiction word.
Mm,
Um, I'll give you another example. The word evil, it did not have a negative connotation. It actually has a positive connotation. I mean, a positive denotation. The word evil originally meant uppity, high esteem, high class. They would call those people evil.
mm.
So over time, to dumb the people down, they created connotative definitions and connotative meanings that they gave off as definitions when that's not the definition. The true definition of a word is its etymon.
That's amazing. Because I remember you spoke to me several times. You're like a lot of time, people who are rational of logical mind will be considered evil. I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? It was like because the logical mind, there's certain sacrifices, there's certain things that must be done for the prosperity of everybody. So it might come off as a evil act, one might say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I
Like if
remember,
I if I I give you another example, the word bitch in the Western world it's looked at as offensive, but that's the probably most uh, biggest compliment that you can give a woman is to call her what her true nature and origin is. Because the word in its origin, when you take it back to BICC, in its original form, it was BICC, bitch. but it just meant female. But the people have gotten so dumbed down to where they think that words are insults because of some of the people use the word as insults. No word is an insult in and of itself. It's how you use it. They've misused words.
Mm-hmm. I know I had that freaking conversation because you get a lot of Asiatics, and for those who know, Asiatics basically represents Black people. They will get very mad over somebody who is not of Black origin using the word nigga.
Right,
And I would say like, nigga is no different than hombre, my boy, my partner. It's all about the context. Now, if somebody's calling you that to be offensive or to demean you in some manner, then that's a different conversation. But if
right.
somebody just they feel a type of love for you, and that's the word of the day. And what's kind of funny is Hispanics use nigga more than Black people now. That's now their word. They have taken that word, which is kind of funny in this today's age. And it's like Black people are cool. They make a pass for that. But it's interesting.
Mongols do it too.
Mongols?
Mongols do it too. Use the word nigga more than the quote unquote Black people.
Clarify Mongol, please.
What y'all call Asians, they're really not Asians. They're just Mongols.
Ah. That's interesting.
You gotta remember, geographically, Asia is the entire land, and at one time, the whole Earth was called Asia. The whole planet was called Asia. But when you dumb down a group of people, a mass population through propaganda, you make them think that only light complected, lice-infected hair people are Asians. That's not true. The original Asians is the Asiatic, black, dark Moors.
Yeah, we had to go a little bit into the history of that because I've been explaining to people like Africa is not an actual place. Like if you look on the continent, I think it's the Suez Canal. Which canal was it?
Right, the Suez Canal. That's man-made.
Okay, not what was the one? There was a strait that's connected to Africa to Asia, making into one mass. I forget what you told me. You put it on you showed me on the globe.
The Gaza Strip.
The Gaza Strip.
Yeah, the Gaza Strip, the Suez Canal, all that land is connected. And if you look up the old definition of continent, is continuous land mass.
Mm-hmm.
So Asia and Africa are still connected. Then which one is it? Is it Asia or is it Africa? And I guarantee you, they would never tell you that it's Africa because they know it's not Africa. They know it's Asia. Iran is Asia. Iraq is Asia. All that shit is Asia, man. But they like to dumb people down and tell them that there's something called the Middle East. Well, if there's the Middle East, then where the fuck is the Middle West?
Bingo. It's funny. And that's one of the things I'm starting to understand as I age is that like we give humans a lot of credit where they really don't belong. Most humans they can barely eat, drink, and water and bathe themselves. Like that's very difficult for most. So the idea of these concepts that we're speaking of is like we're talking alien talk for the most part to a lot of people.
Yes, because they think that people are colors, and I'm a black person. No, black is an adjective. It only describes, and then as a legal status, black means dead in the eyes of the law. There are only constitutional republics, and in a Republican form of government, which the Constitution of the United States guarantees every state, there is no black people. They don't exist. It's a fraud. And you're either an American or you don't exist according to law. But I know what the Albions, what the European Albions did. They forced that title of Negro, Black, and Colored onto the people, but the people are really American.
Mm-hmm. And what did white? Because I mean, you just said black is defined as like a dead person within the constitutional law. What does white mean as far as in constitutional law?
Pure, of which I would be considered white man because I'm a pure American.
And when did we start?
I didn't come from nowhere else. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not a migrant, and I'm not an immigrant. That's one of the reasons why they push the Pan African agenda so hard, because they have to disconnect you from your land mass politically. And if I can disconnect your mind, I don't have to worry about your body.
Mm, that's fascinating. Because you start to realize how powerful these words and terms are. Like the more I've been getting educated, the more I take on information, you start to learn. One of the things that kind of stuck out to me when you were talking about was like propaganda, where propaganda only can work if you're uneducated. Propaganda is just a means for you to be able to confuse yourself to follow some type of nonsense.
Right.
And so, could
Exactly.
you? Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to agree with you and say it's just like being a man. If you know you're a man, you're not going to let anybody come try to confuse you and confuse it and go, well, maybe you might be a duck, and you like, man, get the fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, but you have to be sure that you're a man, because if you're not sure that you're a man, someone will try to come and confuse you.
And that's what we're largely seeing in today's age, where we have all these young people who are so confused on what they are because they're being, you could say, groomed for the better or worse. That no, if you don't think that you're a boy, you're not a boy. You can be a girl. Which if
Right.
any man that's around is gonna be like, no, bro, you got some balls, man. What the fuck are you talking about? You got a ball and some dick.
Exactly.
You're a man. And so I'm largely trying to see, when did you start to identify, or how long, like, when did you start to notice the propaganda, or has this always just been a thing within human nature?
Well, propaganda has always been a thing within human nature, because what it does, it gives you an unfair advantage. There's nothing wrong with having an advantage and getting an advantage in a conflict, right? But propaganda gives you an unfair advantage, where the individual begins to hurt themselves, and so it lessens your impact and your skill in what you're doing.
Mm. And how
Right?
does,
Like,
oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you.
no, I was just gonna say it's kind of like how young black men now, they're doing the job of the Ku Klux Klan for them, but they don't know that. They don't know that those things were set up in movie and media and film for them to run around with this attitude to shoot that nigga, kill that nigga, shoot that nigga, kill that nigga, shoot that nigga, kill that nigga, rob that nigga, man. I'm robbing for my niggas because I'm dying on the nod. And all of that energy came from the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like,
Mm. It's amazing. You know what's crazy is, like, when you try to explain this to the young Asiatic, they are looking at you with confusion, like, bro, you don't understand my struggle. You don't understand. It's like, why don't you guys cooperate? Why are you guys attacking each other? What is the purpose of attacking each other? You're telling me that the white man is all bad, but what I'm noticing is you guys are doing the job of him. Well, nigga, he fucked
right,
my bitch. He owed me some money or whatever. Like, you be looking like, brother, what the fuck? Is this really a reason to be going to war with each other?
right.
And
But that's the power of propaganda. Propaganda gets you to deceive yourself. The propaganda doesn't deceive you.
mm,
Propaganda gets you to deceive yourself. Because if I put a propaganda tool out there that tell women, you are a pink flamingo, baby. You're not a woman. You're a pink flamingo. And she's walking around and she's saying, hey, my name is Dawn. I'm a pink flamingo. And you're like, this bitch is psychopath. You know what I'm saying? This bitch is
right.
you know, this bitch is crazy, man. But
It's
she's
right.
deceived her. Like, all right.
And you start to see with the young males of today, where they're starting to be able to be propagandized, where, like, they're now acting so feminine. And it's,
Right,
and one of the things that makes me think is, like, maybe in the older times, man has always had, like, this ability not to think, but we propagize men to behave in man-like manners.
right.
But in today's time,
And
we
then,
kind of morph this shit, and now they're turning out like females.
right, right. Because just like a woman could say, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. But every month she gets a reminder, no, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's the same way. When you put your hands between your legs, you got to remind you you're not a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You can play that game with yourself, and that's cool, man. You can lie to yourself, but I don't think that's a crime yet. You know,
And that's what's so harsh about one of the things I know is like with the transgenders where they have like extreme regret after having the surgery, especially if they do it fairly young and they do the hormone replacement. It's like as they age and mature. What's up?
I don't even want to cut you off. I just want to let you know this, man. That's the biggest. That should be the biggest marker. If you really was a woman, you wouldn't need a surgery.
Right. And it's very obvious too. It's not even like why are you getting surgery? Well, I want to feel more like a man. And it's such a sad thing because when you hear the stories and the suicide rates, it's like they realize, oh my god, I've been fooled. Yeah, I thought if I changed my outer and all this stuff and made this appearance, it would make me. But no, at the end of the day, you are what you are.
Right.
When rubber hits the road, like what you said, if shit gets really real, like all the women who think they're the bosses and all that stuff, and they can do it on my own. Hey, look, let an earthquake hit. Watch how fast you start looking for a man.
You ain't got to go that far. I mean, I have to just let enough men go get hungry,
Mm.
and don't accept cash or credit cards. Men will revert back to animalistic state, and they'll go the woman's brains right out of her head.
Damn.
Because she's the weaker vessel. I mean, see, you can't fool divine nature. You can't fool it. You know what I'm saying?
This is facts. And that's one of the things I examine as the leading American human biologist is what I'm claiming now. But it's like my studies of people is like you realize human beings are very incentive based creatures. It's almost comical. Like very few humans actually have an ethical sense of doing right for right's sake. Most need some type of financial or monetary or sexual or some type of benefit that they receive for doing good deeds. And
right, that's what religion came in at. You got to remember, there's the world post religion and prior. The prior world, the savage world, didn't nobody care about heaven and hell. Those are fairly new concepts to humans. The afterlife is a new concept to humans. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, you're dealing with maybe 400 or 500-year-old concepts. But when you measure that against the time span of man, that's very new. That's very modern.
True. I've been able to kind of figure it out. Like when I try to explain to people, is like the animal, like because one of the things that fascinates me as a science teacher is how people don't understand evolution, and they're like, "Well, there is no evolution. Like, how we come from monkeys? We didn't come from monkeys. We descended from an animal known as man."
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
A lot of Europeans descended from monkeys, but yeah, that's
yeah, that is true. Well, they share the common ancestors, but like the yeah, we all come from different various organisms that like the original life, whatever you want to call it, and it sprang into different niches and developed different types of adaptability depending on where it landed within whatever particular structure. But one of the things that people have a tough time with understanding is that nature, the inner animal, the inner organism, that thing overrides your humanity. It overrides you being a mammal. There's the essence of just the organism, and that organism's rules don't ever fucking really change because it's hardwired into us. We can't get rid of it. Like if you see a beautiful woman, there's a reason your eyes go or you start looking like you have like a third world sense or like a sixth sense, like, oh, pretty woman. And same thing with women. They know how to get a man's attention, like just naturally. They don't have to be trained to do it. They just understand how to get a man's attention.
Right.
And so we keep fighting these particular nature, and it ends up kicking man's ass. Undefeated.
Yeah. Nature's pretty much undefeated. Your dick get hard, you're gonna make a disastrous decision. I guarantee
you. Hey, give me half a second. Let me take a quick restroom break. I'll be right back.
All right, no problem.
All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you. Thank you. For the one person in the audience. Appreciate you. Yeah. So yeah, as I begin to study humans and you kind of understand like the identicator, it makes life very easy. And one of the things I'm trying to figure out with like kind of my life task is how to build better human beings, how to get humans to think better. Because once you can start to think better, you can start to read things better, and then you can make better decisions. And I look
Right.
at a lot of people's decisions and they're fucking retarded because they don't know how to think. And then when you try to challenge their thinking, they want to get mad at you. So is there any way that we can be able to
It's not that you're challenging their thinking. What you're challenging is their teachers. And when you
mm,
do that, that strikes a nerve because everyone in the Western world, they think that they have this arrogant. America is very arrogant. So they think, oh, Uncle Billy Bob told me that the colors wasn't good, and you tell me he lied to me. You're like, I'm just letting you know he kept you in the trailer park for 45 years. You know what I'm
no, it's right. And I see it now. There's a bunch like Andrew Tate showed me a lot of things, that epidemic or that phenomenon. Because people are so willing to like almost die for this guy
Right,
because
they're
they
gonna
gave
die
him,
on that hill.
yeah. It's like you can't show him no like, and like once that happened, I started seeing the Barry's other thing. I started seeing in boxing, like boxing fans, they boxing fans almost make up any particular reason why to not accept a human being as a boxer if they're not a part of like their clan. Same thing with the Tate. A lot of these celebrities, these people like need to believe in like the mythology of the persons to make them feel like maybe there's somebody that's of a higher power that knows something I don't know. But in the reality, basically all humans are pretty limitless. I mean, we're all limited in our ability to truly see the grander play of all things when they're interacting. We're all kind of just stuck in the wheels of history and time.
Right.
And some people have better influence over than others, and they got money and resource and power. But at the end of the day, they still don't know how it's going to turn out. It's just they're kind of hoping that maybe with all these different variables I can account for, it might work out for me. And I think that's a
Yeah, and it never
terrifying.
does.
It never does because there's too many
You,
variables
you're
you
not
just can't account for.
you're not gonna stop life. One of
Hmm.
one of my favorite movies. It's an old movie, but it's a classic. Jurassic Park. Um, when the mathematician, I forgot the dude's name. He's a really good actor.
The fat dude.
But no, not the fat dude. The dude that played in The Fly. I forgot his name. Jeff Goldblum, I think it
Oh
was.
yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
Goldblum.
Yeah, he's a hell of an actor.
But he's a hell of an actor. He said they asked him. They said, "How do you stop the dinosaurs?" Because they tried to recreate something that nature wiped out. So how do you stop them from or how do you control their mating? And they said, "Oh, we got it all under control. This is man. You got this is modern man trying to say he has 500 million years of evolution under control." Because a lot of times, men are so arrogant. Modern man is so arrogant. He thinks he can control 500 million years of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty arrogant stance. And so when he told him, he said his response was, "Life will always find a way," and
Mm.
it did because the very thing we talk about and the transgenders may be a key to unlocking some life evolution. They found
Mm.
a way for life. because the frogs started to change sexual organs,
Mm.
so that they could reproduce.
Mm.
Now I
Yeah.
know it wasn't a psychological transgender; it was a physical. They actually physically changed their sex in order to keep the species moving forward, which to me was brilliant of the divine nature. Is that damn life will find a motherfucking way. You know what I'm saying? When you think you got it figured out, that thing will totally, get away from you. You're not gonna stop life.
Mm-hmm.
Life is an amazing force. Life is an amazing force to be
It's
reckoned
like
with.
I would almost put it. It's like you got 15 days to make rent. You need $1,000, but times that by 10 million. Because extinction
Right,
is the what you call it, the end result of failure of life.
right,
And so there is no greater pressure besides, yeah, all your shit will be wiped out if you don't fucking figure out a way to keep this thing going.
right.
And you start to realize how strong and resilient like life is. They're like, no matter in what situation, no matter even if all of it gets wiped out, there's still gonna be some macro bacteria that will start to replicate, eventually double up, become multicellular, turn to
hmm
slime, turn into a mushroom,
And
and
will,
then the whole game keeps going.
that's right. And it will create its own body.
Hmm.
A lot of times we forget that bacteria can create its own body.
Yeah, like the fungi. Like one of the things I found one of the most fascinating experiments when I was studying my degree in microbiology, whatever. Not my degree, but I was studying biology. Was the fungi just how adaptable it can live as a single cell, it can live as multicellular, it can combine and make colonies, it can represent as a slime, it can turn into a mushroom, and the intelligence, its ability to communicate with other mushrooms and share information to create a network. And they had this layout of Japan where they wanted to get from the end of Japan to this particular food source, and they basically mapped out the city of Japan. And they put the fungi in there, and the fungi sent out some pioneers to go find out where the food was. And as soon as they figured out the food, it communicated with the other ones. And they made a streamline that was the most efficient streamline to get to that said food source. I was like, fuck, that's just like humans. And
Hmm
you start to realize, hold up a second, like maybe humanity, we ain't as special as we think we are. We like to have this ego, like we're the most brilliant thing to ever come upon the planet because we can drive cars and fly and shit like that. But maybe life got it
Nah,
figured out. Maybe we're behind.
nah, we're way behind. We're vastly behind. From the technology to the way we treat each other is vastly as a society. We're, I'm surprised other beings from other dimensions haven't come to us and just said, "Look, man, you motherfuckers is just off, man. You motherfuckers is off, bro."
It's true. You know what's interesting is one of the things that always perplexes me, just because the lack of science education, is people who tell me that space is fake. And
Right.
I,
So is the homeless man living under the bridge. Huh? Okay.
I'm like, dog, space is just anything around you. Space does not have to be necessarily like the outer, but the idea that like all that shit that you see in the stars, the all these nations sending out satellites, we're sending probes and shit. The like and one of the things I find is funny with people is the difference between understanding probability and possibility. So many people like, is it possible that it can all be a ruse that every nation is just combined together to create this idea that there's no real space and we're just stuck like in a cave or some shit like that? Yeah, it's possible. But what's the probability of all these nations cooperating and putting resources to do all this bullshit to fool you, use regular citizen on Earth? And it's like when people don't, it's so hard for people to understand that. And I don't know if it's the school system or it's just humans just don't have the ability to grasp.
No, they've been purposely indoctrinated and dumbed down to hold up humanity. Humanity it wants to go forward, but like I said, you got cousin Skeeter and Billy Bob, and they just want to have a picnic and just want to tell all the niggas around the world that you ain't gonna be shit, and we hate you. That's pretty much Albions have done around the world. They've just held the world back, bro. They've
Mm,
held the world back, man. Ever since you got to remember, man, that the Caucasian is not what I don't see them for what black people in America see them. I see them as they are in the world. They are the ones who burned down the library, the greatest library in the world in Alexandria, Egypt. That's what they do. They burn books because they have to rule in fear and negativity and in destruction. That's the only way they had order is out of chaos, out of destruction, out of anarchy. They cannot rule in excellence. If you cannot rule in excellence, you're not a ruler. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? You're pretending. You know, you got to think, man. The oldest pyramids was in Mexico, man. Temple of the Moon and the Sun.
mm-hmm,
Um, they can't even touch that stuff. You know, all of the artifacts that was not over there, but over in the Western Hemisphere. They had a Sphinx in Memphis, Tennessee, that was older than the Sphinx in Cairo, Egypt.
mm,
The Grand Canyon has been known to have documented all of the American, what they call Egyptian history and artifacts there. So you're dealing with a civilization after civilization after civilization. Because the Mississippi River at one time was called the Blue Nile, and it was the Nile of the Western Hemisphere. So you're dealing with civilization after civilization that has ruled on this earth, that has been here and has been a prosperous civilization
mm.
until this one group of people just come and they just want to destroy. I don't know why. I really don't. It's amazing, but they do it everywhere they go. You
Mm.
know, they do it in Ukraine. I mean, everywhere they go, they just it's like roaches.
Interesting.
They they but that's the behavioral pattern. They go somewhere, consume everything, consume all of the resources, and then instead of creating a balance or restoring the resources, they just go to another area and consume. You know,
Mm. And now it's almost like we're reaching a breaking point where it's like they're out of fuel. It's like it's sputtering now. And one of the things I'm starting to realize, like I talked to some Abayam homies, a lot of them don't want to take the reins of leadership. They're terrified of their own people, which is a very interesting dynamic. It's like white
why
people
wouldn't they be?
make sense.
Listen, if I backdoored everybody that you knew, and then I asked you, I was like, Apex, why you don't trust me, dog?
It's obvious. And the funny thing is,
I
like,
can't, I can't see Apex don't trust me, nigga. After all other niggas I shot on the block, you know what I'm saying?
it makes perfect sense why you're not trustworthy.
He was like Damon on Friday, group hug, nigga. You know,
But I'm almost willing to
I
say,
was
I'm like,
like, that.
oh, go ahead, brother.
I'll be like Shay on Friday, like, no.
It's interesting because now it's like they've created this own, like, because I mean, you tell me that, like, white people, for just term sakes, to make it easier for the audience to understand, or Albion, they understand there's some deep shit. They understand there ain't no allies. Like, America's their last bastion of like hope, and this shit's fucking failing. And they're looking, damn, who the fuck gonna come save us? And it's almost comical, but they're probably gonna look for a black man to come save them. They're gonna look at black people like, please, can you figure this out for us? We'll give you everything. Especially, I think, after these boomers are done. Because
That's the last generation you got, man, is the boomers. That once the boomers die out, that's it, bro.
yeah, America's gonna
That's
be
it.
basically and that's what I'm noticing. And what we were talking about, like the future of America, what this looks like. Once the boomers get out the paint, it's like I had a good friend, Dr. B, we gotta bring him on, but he was talking about Gen X is kind of shied away from leadership. Like they were talking about there was a huge trauma that Gen X took on from dealing with the boomers, the music and arts that time. They had nobody, like, they're listening to this radical shit. Like, you have rap music coming into play, all this grunge shit, a change in the way that culture is starting to be appropriate. Like, they had a lot of trauma, but nobody to really go to because there was no internet or online forums to really communicate and exchange information to kind of process this shit. So a lot of them have like a very like just undertone, like darkish, just kind of hide away, and they feel like they're always they were never prepared for leadership.
They weren't trained. They weren't vetted. Like if you look at Russia, Russia can go about 3 generations deep vetting their people.
Mm.
Think about the Wagner Group, the military arm of Russia. When they stay blowing shit up. They stay, but they also stay training military officers. They also stay training military personnel.
Mm. America has nothing like that. We've nigga, figure it out for yourself. That's been our fucking motto.
Right. I mean, think about. Don't believe me. Test me. Why do you think Burkina Faso in what we call Africa, right, is really Asia? Why do you think those governments are kicking the French out?
Why are they kicking the French out?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't want that type of rule infiltrating into their nation.
That's right. And not only that, but why does France own all of the gold mines in what you call Africa?
Mm. How did they get that? Was it force? So why one of the questions is, how does Africa not defend the resource? How do they find themselves in a
because
position?
when you allow another country to colonize your country, they govern the affairs just like they did in Libya with Gaddafi, and just like they did in Kuwait with Saddam Hussein, just like they did with Osama bin Laden, just like they do with everywhere they go. They put a puppet dictator in there. They put a puppet leader in there that they easily can control while they're extracting resources.
Mm.
And then they get the people hooked on currency, Federal Reserve currency, that's not backed by gold or silver.
Yeah, the monopoly money bullshit.
Right. We call it scratch paper in the pimp game. You know, you practicing. What you talking about? Your shit ain't gold. Your shit ain't silver. Your shit ain't. It's not made out of a metal. The real world is based on precious metals, is it not?
Good point. Why did we skip from the precious metals? Like how did that con get brought about to us?
Now you got to reveal who's the real fucking thief of the world. It's the Albions. They go to and fro the earth, devouring nations because they take their precious metal and they give them paper finance, paper currency for it.
Mm.
Two things they're gonna give you. They're gonna give you a Bible and they're gonna give you some paper notes. And when the smoke clears, you ain't got shit.
Mm. And what makes these precious metals like, why are they precious?
Because they're rare. And it's only a certain amount. See, the scarcity is based on divinity. Divinity means nature.
Mm.
Nature only produces so much gold. Nature only produces so much land. Nature only produces so much silver. Nature only produces so many gems. Nature only produces so many diamonds.
Mm.
Right? When you judging a diamond, it's based on the 3 C's: color, cut, clarity.
Mm. So do you foresee a time where, like, let's say hypothetically, all these diamonds and gold and all the precious metals are spread amongst the people evenly? What does that look like as a society?
The eradication of poverty, as we know it, of adverse poverty. Because now, once you restore wealth into the hands of the public, we can address the issues of poverty because now they have something to trade with. Even if they trade it in for currency, that's still their option, though. They're not being exploited.
Mm. And can you foresee
it's more of a fair platform. it's like putting Kevin Durant against a third grade.
Oh, you got a little bit of
Basketball.
static on your end.
I said it's like putting Kevin Durant against the third grader basketball player. He's gonna get mollywopped. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair, man. It's so unequitable. It's so one side is lopsided. It's not even close. Like America's not fighting wars. It's a slaughter.
Hey, one second thought. You got a little bit of static on your end. It's like maybe try
Okay.
Unplug your headphone, then plug it back in. Sorry, folks. Give us a second. We're doing a little bit of technical difficulties.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, can you?
Yeah, I got you. Perfect.
I said they're not fighting wars, man. This is slaughter. This is a slaughterhouse. They're slaughtering other nations, bro. It's not a war. War is collateral damage. No collateral damage. This is slaughter.
And do you foresee a time where that does not happen, or maybe we're running into that time? Because how many men are really enlisting to sign up to do this type of work at this point?
No. When you look at the generals, that's the generals now, man. They're not on the battlefield. Everything's done from an office and a button and a drone. You know, there's no like that. The guerrilla tactics is good if you're dealing with like guys in the hood. But when you're talking about countries going at each other, it ain't no more BOTG, boots on the ground.
Well, here's the thing.
That's what makes a couple. I was saying that's what makes a couple different nations a little dangerous, like North Korea, because they don't give a fuck. They just hit a button and send a nuke. You know?
Yeah.
They got, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't care. What do they have to lose, bro?
I know that's the scary part that I don't think Americans, maybe the boomers, whoever's up in charge making these choices, I don't think people. It's like the bully that's fucking with the kid every day to the point where the kid got nothing to lose, or he's like, you know what, fuck it, mutual destruction. Let's reset it. Let's see what you're really about.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of countries that will have no problem signing up to do that, make that happen.
Right. I mean, that's what it ultimately is going to come down to. It's going to come down to kamikaze mission.
You think that's inevitable?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Damn. That's heavy, man. Because you think about all of our worries, there's just small time worries when you really think on the grand scheme of things. And there is no intercepting of multiple nukes. Like, all it takes is one.
Right.
And what do you think will be the main target area?
In America?
Yeah.
Of course, man. It'd be the Eastern Seaboard or the DC DMV. I mean, if I was just a betting man, because you got to remember, they don't have a lot of wiggle room. So they're going to send a message and send a message strong like they did with 9/11. So, you know.
So let's say
they don't have time to play, though.
What's up?
I said, they don't have time to play. Playtime and game time is over with, bro. Like people forget, bro. The U.S. admitted defeat in Afghanistan. And look how long that conflict was. You know what I'm saying? Look how much equipment and resources and manpower that was left in Afghanistan.
That was a real sign. That was shit. We haven't taken a loss like that since Vietnam. And that was just a bunch of dudes. Yeah, that's an under tech small country. I mean, not small country, but they weren't no world power, and that's why I think America. I remember somebody speaking about it. It's like America's like a heavyweight champ that's finished, but he still has that mystique of the big stick where everybody's a little bit scared. But the armor, people are starting to notice the armor is breaking. Like he's walking around a little punch drunk, and they're looking at our world leaders. They're looking at the education, and I think that the advent of the smartphone and the ability to see things in real time, people are looking like, hold up a second, man. These Americans, brother, these motherfuckers ain't what we thought they were.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't think America could because you can't propagize, and that's one of the things I'm starting to realize now in this new age that we enter in with information. You can't really propagize through the major networks. Nobody's watching major news no more. Everything is on the ground journalists, guys like me making videos like this. We get more views than a lot of the major news networks, especially these boomers starting to die off. The way that internet's being consumed and the way that media is being consumed, it's now a citizen based journalism is primarily
Mm-hmm.
the and now it's almost like you can't stop it really. What are you gonna do? Keep
Can't.
killing? You can't. It's too far out.
It's like when crack hit in '85. Can't stop it. A $5 rock. Come on, man. Who can't afford a $5 crack rock?
Mm-hmm. And
If
this
you
is why
just take
$5
Willie,
crack rock.
take Willie at the liquor store. Willie went to the liquor store. He just got paid. Willie has $1,500 in his pocket, and he's at the liquor store cashing his check. Do you know how tempting a $5 crack rock is for Willie?
Go have him a good ass time.
Right. There's no way that they can stop news media now from being consumed by. You got Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse. You name it, man. You can't stop people from speaking now.
Mm-hmm. And the boomers
I
not even
forgot
that.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. You also got new ones. Kick, Twitch. There's at least 20 different video services you can pretty much go upload content, and that's not even including making your own web page, Google, going through Facebook videos. So at this point, it's like, and I know about cybersecurity. There's only so much data that a computer can take before it essentially just it can't filter. And then that human being has to look at it, be able to filter out. And then on top of that, the boomers are not very well equipped. And a lot of people who are smart enough to work in those highest levels, they don't want to work for the government. They go do their own shit. And so what my prediction almost is as the boomers begin to die off and like maybe our group starts to take over, I think America, I'm almost wanting to say America because at this point we've been infiltrated through immigration, legal and illegal. So now we're really a super melting pot. A lot of white people are kind of dying out, or you say the Albion's kind of dying out. They're not reproducing. They're not having families. What's good, my nigga? Hey, what's up? How you doing, Red? You got any questions? Shoot them in the chat. But what I'm starting to realize is, like, America's leadership is open for the taking for the most part. And my hope is that the internet kids, as they begin to go and they begin to get educated and they begin to learn, I think a lot of people are just gonna be like, hey, look, let's cut some deals with these countries. Like if I'm the president of America, and which I hope to be in 2040 something, I need to go down and sit down like a real dude. Like, hey, look, brother, these motherfuckers out of control. We didn't know any better. We're getting the same. All the bullshit. That's rectified. How can we cut a deal so we can do international commerce, make it a fair deal? Because I don't want to see nuclear war. You want to protect your kids, right? We don't want to see you fucking blow shit up. We don't want to blow shit up. How can we compromise this? Because we can't keep having these old ass motherfuckers like Trump and Biden. Like it's a joke. At this point, it's a fucking joke. American leadership looks like a joke.
Right. It's been a joke for a long time. It's not new. It's been a joke since the Reagan administration, even before that. But they were betting on the good old boy network. They was betting on, I'm an Albion, you're a Caucasian, and I'm gonna keep my foot in all these niggas' ass, whether they be land niggas or sand niggas. We're gonna keep our foot in their ass. That's how they think. You know what I'm saying?
I think largely them motherfuckers, like, they're not getting the same support. And the people that do support them, it's like it's the dumb rednecks. It's the people that ain't gonna really do shit for you. I'm
Well,
starting to
you gotta remember their plan is like people, how people feel about the state of Mississippi is how most Albions feel about America. They want to see it because that's their glory days. Remember when a nigga used to have to get off the sidewalk when a white man was walking? Project that to the world. You know,
yeah.
they want to project that to the world. And so for them, when you say "Make America Great Again," that's exactly what they mean. You remember when all those niggas, man, in Saudi Arabia used to got to come over here, man, to tell us how good America was? That's what they want. That's what they're looking for. You know, they're not looking for equality. They're not looking for global fairness. That's what BRICS was all about. They're not looking for Brazil, Russia, China, India, and all these other nations to come together and to stop petty conflicts and petty disputes. They're not looking for that. They're looking for one thing. We got to have a white man running the show. They're looking for Clint Eastwood. They're looking for John Wayne. That's what they're looking for.
He don't exist. He ain't out there. He ain't out there. The Great White Hope, as they used to call from the back in the Jack Johnson days.
Right. It's not there. It's not there. The world has changed. The world is not what, the world is not when Alabama was run by Paul Bear Bryant. That's not the world,
It's like, yeah, and I think that has largely to do with the internet, the global consciousness, I would call it.
Right.
Where it's like we can all communicate. Like, this has never been a thing in human history where I can go speak with somebody, because I do consultation. I talk to people from Ireland, talk to people from India, talk to people from Canada. Like, it's a global consciousness. Anybody can find and reach you if they really want to talk and reach to you. And when you start to remove the barriers of communication, you start to realize we're all kind of alike, and we're all going to start looking like, who's the real enemy? And at a certain point, like, armies are not going to, because like, one of the things I'm starting to notice with a lot of veterans, because I speak to some veterans sometimes, they got a lot of regret for what they had to do in that time. They feel like they were conned. They feel like they were sold a bill of goods that wasn't real, and they have anger. They have a lot of, like, they don't look at those people as enemy. They look at, like, who sent me there? Why'd you tell me these things? Why did you make him seem like this was this particular this bullshit, this story I saw? And I'm almost positive a lot of, like, there's the essence of America, I think a lot of people are fucking fed up. In the COVID, and that's when I think the people, I guess you would say the people at large, these elites, they're not really elites, they're just hiding, trying to hoard resources, which makes no sense, because at the end of the day, you're gonna fucking die anyway. You gotta give it up. But people are gonna start looking, where's the enemy, the real one? And I think a lot of these countries don't have a problem giving up that information to Americans.
They don't. Just imagine what the CIA has in their dossier, and then imagine what the KGB from Russia has about America in their dossier.
I'm almost pretty sure the KGB's is way worse, because you get the Americans sipping. You send a little batty Russian redhead with some alcohol, nigga. These niggas stealing everything.
They're telling the truth. Like when they threaten to tell the black people in America that they're the real Jews.
What?
The
real enemies are laziness and pride.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what Rid commented that. These white folks don't want to get their hands dirty doing blue collar or agricultural based jobs. Yeah,
that's right.
And the scary part is America don't even realize it, but we become so dependent on exporting man labor, that our crop of men that we are producing, like I always say this, we got the worst crop of niggas ever produced in this time period. These niggas is useless.
Why?
we overplayed that submissive. We overplayed the making submissive men and weak submissive men. Now we have basically doomed ourselves with no man labor.
Right. How about we stop teaching men to be men?
Mm. True. Men don't know how to behave like men. That was also another thing I was gonna bring up. One of the topics was, how does a young man find his way, like a lost young guy? Say you go back in this day, you're fucking 16, 17, you ain't got no real direction, no man to teach you. Where do you go? How do you figure it out? Where do you start? What's the first step?
Well, you already know my first step is always going to be for a young man, and that's education.
Mm.
Because without education, you're doomed for failure. You
What
might as well
tools
not
would you
even get up out the bed.
what tools would you recommend for education? Where were you recommend for a man to start?
Law dictionary, or if he can't get
Interesting.
his hands on the law dictionary, it would be an Oxford dictionary, because by law they have to go into the etymon of the word, or the etymology. They have to go into the true origin of the word. So you're not going to get that flim flam stepped on job shit that you get out of regular dictionary.
Mm. And just start chewing words up.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, 90% of Americans don't know how to read, brother. That's those with a college degree. They don't know how to read.
Mm.
They know how to scan. They don't know how to read.
No, you ain't lying. I see this all the time on Twitter. One of the most amazing things I find about Twitter is you can tell people can read, but their reading comprehension, they
Very
don't
low.
know, very low. It's like, what the fuck, like, bro. Like I saw a nigga today, right? So shit. I'll never let somebody demean my. He's like, I'll be down. I'll let hell freeze over before I let somebody demean me and my accomplishments. I said, brother, that don't make no sense. How the fuck you gonna stop somebody from demeaning your accomplishments? What are you gonna do? What's your repercussion? Like, do you know what the words you're saying mean? Because by saying
They
you're gonna
don't.
stop, yeah, they don't. We have Burry Saint says he asked Oxford Dictionary.
Yes, Oxford, because they go directly into the etymon of the word. The etymon is its true origin, and they have to give you a reference point of when that word came into society.
Mm. A
So they
whole lot
have a
of
bracketed etymon.
folks out there who can't read above a fourth grade level. Hey, I was a third grade. Some niggas can't read cat in the hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like some people are, and you know what's crazy? Some people are proud non-readers. Some seasons I haven't read a book since seventh grade, and I'm doing just fine. I'm like, God damn, nigga, you celebrating this? That makes sense to
Didn't I
you?
tell you? Didn't I tell you they love Mississippi?
Just dumb, and
Get
ignorant.
that? Yeah, woo! Let's burn the cross right in his front yard, buddy. You know.
You ever seen Django?
Yeah, I seen Django. It's a great movie. I love the movie.
Great movie. Fucking
Especially
love it.
when he whipped his ass with the whip.
And but it's the funny thing is those people are dying out. That like we're not like, you almost look stupid in today's age. It's almost like a meme, I would say, to pretend to be such a racist character. Say
Right.
less. Yeah, we got a young guy. How old are you, Barry Saint? He says, say less. I'm trying to learn how to learn. So what's a good way to study and retain information to get to the point where I use it naturally? That was his question. If you can see it on the screen.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see. How to learn. So what's a good way to study? One of the best ways that I've seen many scholars do is use mnemonics. Mnemonics are like acronyms, or they're memory. They're really memory um, tools to help you retain the knowledge and the comprehension. So anything that uses mnemonic, I use a lot of acronyms when I create educational content for students.
Mm.
To give you an example, when I teach people LATE, late, think of late, and they go, what, late, 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 and I go, yeah, it's an acronym for look at the evidence. It's to
Mm.
retrain your mind to look at the evidence and not look at the emotion. Look at the evidence. What is evidence? So you won't trick yourself into be into into believing the narrative or the propaganda. So
Mm,
first step would tell you to be on the lookout for all mnemonic tools. Those are just tools to help you your memory. Like I said, late is one of them for me. Another one I created was Pimp, PYMP, which is also a clothing brand, but it's professional yield and manifested progress, and
mm.
it also stands for passion, yield, and my purpose. So be on the lookout for some of that stuff. You'll be seeing some merchandise that should be coming up. I've been working with some financiers to get some working capital to get some stuff to the market,
Hey, I'm right
but
there with you, brother.
I'm not rushing it only because I want the the merchandise to meet the people where they at. It's really a mind connectedness um, that I want people in the world to get back to making education great again. Racism, all of the isms and schisms of the world are all they all come out of fear and ignorance. So you think someone's better because of the pigment of their skin, and it's not true. A dark skinned person will fuck you over just like a Caucasian person. You know what I'm saying? You
Facts.
don't know nothing.
It's true. And as an educator, one of the things that I find tough to deal with and is trying to figure out how do I make this enlightening? How do I make you want to actually learn? And it's really a Jedi mind trick you start to figure out. One of the things is as I'm studying business, is you don't want to sell like if I'm selling you a fitness course or I'm selling you whatever the fuck I'm selling you. You don't want to sell people on the idea. I'm going to help you get in shape through this journey. What you want to say is, hey, I got this new opportunity. Would you like to look better and get more attention from women, make more money? Everybody's like, yeah, that's easy. All right, well, brother, come with me and do this. Do this for a little bit of time, then I'm going to show you something else. And when you start to frame, like one of the things I'm trying to figure out is how do I frame education? Well, let me teach you this. Hey, brother, do you want to make more money? Do you want to live more comfortable? Do you want to be able to think for yourself and make better decisions? 99% of people are going to say, yeah, I want to make better decisions. Well, hey, look, bro, let me show you something. Here's the vehicle, maybe chess, maybe reading, maybe consultations, whatever the fuck. And I think we got to see a new revolution in the way that education is brought to people because what I'm finding is we've demeaned and just buried fucking education. Nobody takes it serious. Nobody wants to learn. Learning educations are just big
That's because
no word. Oh, go ahead.
that's because of the Rockefeller General Education Board of in the early 1900s. They basically came into America and scrapped education because they were trying to produce workers for the industrialists. So
Mm,
they stopped free thinkers. They stopped free thinkers and governmental thinkers um, from solving a lot of the problems that were pretty much solved in the 1800s.
mm,
They actually went backwards. That's why I always tell people I can't stand them civil rights niggas because they went backwards.
right.
They're begging for privileges when your forefathers established constitutional rights by establishing the United States of America, both minor and major. And when I say minor, I mean the United States, the states that we know of in the Western Hemisphere, the 50 states. But I'm talking about the major, meaning the political states, America, which is Morocco, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Uruguay. You see what I'm saying? Argentina, all of those states of South America politically.
Mm. That's next level. Let's see. Have you seen the state of public school systems in America? Yeah, I mean, I used to teach in them, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a tragedy because one of the biggest problems that we have primarily is that there's no men educators, very
Right.
few.
That was done by that was an operation. We'll say that was an operation by the Albion to take not only men but take melanated men out of classrooms.
Mm. And what we got as a result is a bunch of boys that are expected to behave like girls.
like girls. And so they push an incentive to feminize and demasculize boys. They've given teachers an incentive to do that.
And the result that you get is a bunch of frustration and anger from the boys. I remember I was subbing one day, and there was a young boy, a young little white dude, probably like a 7th or 8th grader, and he's being told you gotta do this, and he's like, "Why I gotta do this? If we have to do this beforehand, why would I do this? That doesn't make any sense." And she's like, "Just do it because I said." He's like, "No, I'm not gonna just do it because you said." That made no sense. And the dude looked at me like, "Bro," like he's looking at me like, "Bro, I'm making sense, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, you making sense." He's like, "Dude, what the fuck?" He's like, "What is this bitch talking about?" And like, even young guys at that age, they understand this is some bullshit. What am I doing here? Why is this even like what the fuck? What are you talking to me about? And what happens is they beat that shit out of boys by making them go sit down, making them miss recess, taking time from their friends, suspending them, all this tomfoolery to the point where the boys just like fuck it, whatever. I'll just comply so these niggas will leave me alone. And that's a bad state that you don't want to see young men in, because man's natural state is experimental. He wants to get up, he wants to touch things, interact, play with things, figure out what fucking blows up, what doesn't blow up. And when you take that from a boy, it destroys his natural curiosity, and you create this meek animal that's not really what he is. And like the most alpha version of a child, or most alpha version of a male, it's like from the ages like 5 to fucking 13, 14, where they just don't give a fuck. Yeah, back in my day, that corporal punishment. I don't know if they got corporal. Do they have corporal punishment? What is corporal punishment exactly? Is that just like hitting, or is
Whooping
it?
your
Oh yes.
physical. Yes, they did have corporal punishment. I received quite a bit of it. Sometimes it's effective and sometimes it's not. It depends on the scenario of why it's being used. But also, I need people to understand that men, there's only one safe space for men, and that's freedom. And that's why uh, families have been destroyed, because when a man doesn't feel free or uh, get an opportunity to exist in freedom, um, he will destroy and he will sabotage whatever situation he's in. He'll run that shit right off the cliff.
We got a question from Barry Saint. I appreciate this. How did you handle fear and gain trust with your own decisions?
Um, ooh, that's a great question. Damn, that was a really good fucking question. um, I got an answer for that one. So the first one is, how did I handle fear? Uh, the best way I handle fear is going back to my principles. I have 5 grounding principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Those are my grounding principles of manhood and life. That's what governs me. It's not the Bible, it's not the Quran, it's not the Ten Commandments, none of that. It's those 5 principles. And that's what helped me to gain trust with my decisions. Because if I make a decision off of my principles, then I can trust that decision, because I know it's coming from love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because I know that's how I think about myself. So in any situation, I don't even care if it's a fist fight. I don't care what it is. If I know I love myself, I'm going to put my dukes up. If I know I love myself, I'm going to protect myself. If I love myself, I'm going to go back to my physical training and my martial arts training. I'm going to keep my chin down, and I'm going to look through my eyebrows. And I'm going to try to knock that motherfucker clean out. Excuse my French. It don't mean I'm invincible. I'm not invincible, but that's what helped me overcome fear. Principles help me overcome fear. And the formula, that's my formula. It's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Mm-hmm.
To answer this question.
No, that's a great question. Thank you, Barry Saint. A 22-year-old man. He's trying to figure it out.
Great question. I wish I would have asked that question at 22.
Hey, to each his own. Time gets there when it gets there. That's the beauty. See, that's why I have some faith in having strong principles. That's why I have some faith in these upcoming new kids because they're looking for some type of figure to inspire to be like, and they're realizing a lot of those guys, the Tates, a lot of these the red pill manosphere motherfuckers, they realizing they flew gazy with time. Like you said, time tested performance is always going to tell you who they are. And
That's right.
so the I like to put content out here. I like to just keep doing what I'm doing and try to be a positive force because I know the young niggas are watching. Now they're just waiting to see my bullshitting because they've been burned so many times from guys they thought they were heroes through the flash. But I think with time and maturity, as they grow and they see the results of what I've done and how the results that are how the things that I preach to them or whatever the fuck are starting to work for them in life, they begin to trust you. And they spread the word to other young dudes. Because right now, young
Mhm.
dudes they're lost, man. They're looking for some type of they're looking for some group where they can join that's actually a positive. Where the guys are not on bullshit. Where's the bitches at? Or let's go get drunk. Or let's play the video games. They want to be successful in the real world. They just don't know how to go about it.
I
Yeah,
totally
see,
agree.
yeah, see, my little young nigga said, not gonna lie, I was sold by the Tate shit.
Well, he's in good company, man, because uh, a lot of people were deceived by that. And one thing I learned is you can fool some of the people some of the time. You can fool most of the people most of the time, but you'll never be able to fool all of the people all of the time.
True.
So that's why I talk about time tested performance, time tested performance, time tested performance. What's the result? What's the result? You know, um, I consider myself a young guy, but I don't consider myself like a super young dude
Mm-hmm.
because of the things I've lived through and experienced. And there's no revealer of truth like time.
No, that's no lie.
Some things you're just not gonna know until time. Time has to reveal certain things.
You ain't lying. And I think that's the benefit with as you begin to age as a man, as you understand the application of time. There's just some things you're just not going to understand at 22. Like you're not going to understand why that woman's bad for you long term. You can't see it. It's not possible for you to see it till you got enough time with her. You're like, okay, this is a bad idea. We didn't start off on the right foot. It was going bad from the beginning. And I find it
Right.
interesting when a lot of guys, when I speak to them, like about the relationship and stuff, I tell them from the jump, bro, you started off bad. It was never gonna work. Well, what do you mean, man? Blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you don't see the small downward trend. And you're not gonna see it until you fucking it's in your face and then it's too late at that point. Now you gotta deal with well, I'm not gonna say it's too late, but now you gotta deal with the price tag now. Now you gotta fucking cash out the stock and you got negative money. And she took everything. She got all the benefits from it. And
Yep.
a lot of guys, it's very difficult for especially young men. And you start to understand the value of mentorship. Like as I'm learning as a business, you need certain people just to keep you from doing bad deals that sound good because you don't understand over time how it's going to fuck you, how much problems it's going to give you in the future. Yeah, that $200 sounds good now, but guess what, man? 6 months, 6 weeks from now, you'll be fucking mad at yourself because this person won't leave you alone about doing minor small things, readjusting shit. Like I had a customer the other day. He's like, "Oh, look, can I give you a review?" And like I know he's like just a giant baby. Like his parents were moving him into his house for him. He was just sitting around like, "No, I don't want to work with you as a customer because, bro, you be calling me all fucking day, ask me to come do shit, probably leave a bad review, be bitching and complaining. No, I don't need that problems in my life. Like, it's not worth the money."
That's another one too. The cost of something versus the price of something. As you mature as a man, you learn the difference between price and cost.
Mm-hmm. And I'm starting. Let's see. What my young man said, I think it's the way he with the take things. Yeah, the snake oil salesman. Yeah, he said, I think it's the way he speaks and the social proof since I've been on the side. So it was like, damn. Well, what you think is social proof wasn't really social proof. It was marketing. So
Right.
any man can go out there and rent a bunch of Bugattis, get a fucking like anybody can do that. But when you actually look, what's the body of work that he produced? He was very mysterious about it. You got to join my club, join this $5,000 club, and I'll teach you my secrets to wealth, brother. And one of the things I realized is like, man, I got so much game. Like, if you ask me about the maces, look, I'll tell you all the basics. I got so much game about this mace, bro. Even with you, I can give you a year's worth of material. You still ain't catching up. I still got 10 levels more to teach you, and that's not including when I'm advancing and learning.
Right.
So there was no value up front.
Here's one way to know you're dealing with a snake or a salesman, man. Ask them to sacrifice what they've earned today. If they're not willing to do it, you're dealing with a snake or a salesman.
They lying.
You know, it's like most of these guys is one of them guys that's like, yeah, they tell a chick, yeah, come sit on my dick today, and I'll pay you tomorrow. You know, that's what it is. Or you know, go kill yourself today, and I'll pay you next week. If you dumb enough to believe that shit, you know what I'm saying? They're more than happy to sell you that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
And the beauty of the internet, well, I think a lot of people don't realize that the internet actually is going to kill the snake oil salesman, because you might be able to get a bunch of them, but after time gets told, now you got a public image of being a scammer. At least back in the old days when you're a snake oil salesman, you go to a new town, hike up.
Right, you go to a new town.
Yeah, but there ain't no new town on the internet. The internet's forever.
Right. That's why a lot of these guys and girls been killing themselves on OnlyFans, because once you kill yourself in the real world, it's like you're done. You know what I'm saying? Like DJ Envy out the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that boy finished now. Fraudulent. He was doing all the videos with the dude. Like, bro, you got scammed by this nigga. Like, how?
Him and Caesar can't sell a doghouse, man, in the middle of Detroit, man. You know.
That's the funny thing about guys. It's like, I just want young men, because I feel so bad because there's a lot of young dudes that made themselves into like these OnlyFans. They call themselves OnlyFan pimps or OnlyFan OF managers. I'm like, bro, you're just sparking your public image, brother. That image is forever. Because if you want to actually start to, like, as you get older, you want to run a legitimate business, people are going to look at it like, hold up a second, aren't you that dude that was doing OF managers? Then you have a girl on the dog leash in the mall. Or yeah, that was me.
And let me clarify something, because I'm not dissing DJ Envy or his questionable business partner. What I am saying is a caveat emptor. In other words, buyer beware. Beware of, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true.
Yeah, it's a very real fact.
If you got some overweight Puerto Ricans in sweatpants and shit talking about, you know, overnight, you know, like next Saturday you're gonna be rich if you listen to me. Come on, man. Don't fall.
Bullshit. It's tough, man.
I've been in the real world as a man. Building wealth takes time, man. It's not. There are no day one experts to building wealth. It just don't exist, bro. That's a lot.
Hey, so we're gonna have to go ahead and wind it down. I gotta finish some work. I gotta get my cybersecurity project, get that shit turned in and submitted so I can be certified. I guess that means something in the world. I don't know.
It always means something, especially with me. And thank you again for holding this. What you call it? You caught me in the middle of working, and I'm always working. I'm always striving to push forward, because even in reconstructing of things, you need, and I want the guys that's listening to hear me, you need working capital, and you need a network of men. Don't ever think that you are not going to need a network of men.
This is facts.
There's no, oh, he got holes, so he good. No, man. The real world is run by powerful men.
We got a thank you from the young man Barry Saints. He said, "Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you for listening, young brother. You're joining in on the early days. We're gonna have a couple series as I blow this channel up. We're gonna blow my man's channel up too, because we gotta get him on the. We gotta teach him how to use the interwebs. Too much talent.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all got to teach me on how to do it. When I got started, it wasn't It wasn't nothing that it was a pager, and it was a beat me with a 911 number on it for the bitch.
All right, brother. Just hang on for a second. I'm gonna end the stream and then we chop it up a little bit before I get up out of here.
All right, cool.
All right. Let's see. In the